You're watching the Yes Network, the home of champions.
On a beautiful sun-splashed day in New York City, you have a couple of options. You can go to the park, or you can go to the park. They're choosing to go to the park called Yankee Stadium. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the defending world champion New York Yankees against the Detroit Tigers in the final game of a four-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball, along with John Flaherty and Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees won 2 of the first 3 games of this 4-game set, and a big part of it has been Curtis Granderson. Obviously, Paul, Curtis Granderson's trying to show the Tigers they made a mistake trading him.
He's been a big bright spot in this series, and you always want to play well, and you see defensively he got off to a great start in day 1 of this series. These are both in the first inning, but, you know, Curtis Granderson, in my mind, the big thing everybody's looking about is the change in his swing. He's really made some adjustments. This series in itself, he's hit a couple home runs. He's hitting the ball hard. Right now, he's a big bright spot in the Yankee offense.
Right now, he's one of the hottest Yankee hitters, and he's doing against, as we mentioned, his former team. In his last 7 games, 346, 9 hits and 26 at-bats, 3 of the hits home runs, 4 ribbies, and 4 runs scored. In fact, Granderson and Robinson Cano have done a lot of damage in this series alone in the first 3 games. Now, take a look at what Granderson's done. 5 for 10, 2 home runs, 2 ribbies. Now, Cano is just 2 for 10, but, John, both of those are home runs.
Well, Robinson Cano having one of those special years with the batting average, but now all of a sudden he has 23 home runs. This is against a left-hander. 12 of those home runs are against lefties this year. That is an impressive number. Last night after Mark Teixeira hit a 2-run shot, this is a line drive out to right field. All of a sudden the power game starting to show up for Robinson Cano.
Well, the Yankees would like to provide Phil Hughes with some offense. He's been pitching much better of late. When we come back, we'll take a look with Paul O'Neill at what Phil Hughes is doing and what he did in his last start. Next. Moments away from the first pitch of the final game of this 4-game set. That's Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay, and John Flaherty will rejoin us in just a moment. Let's take a look at the pitching matchup for today's Game 4, and the matchup is brought to you by New York Lottery. Rick Porcello will go for the Tigers, 5-10, 5.53. Phil Hughes having a very good year, 14-5, 3.94. Last time out, Paul, against the Royals, not great, but he picked up the win.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with numbers. I mean, he's 14-5. He came into the year not even knowing if he was going to be part of the starting rotation. Got off to a great start. But right now, as this division tightens, he's going to have to be one of the main guys to go out there when the Yankees need a win.
You know what? He makes his pitches, he gets it done, and he's actually pitched better of late than he did right after the All-Star break there. A comebacker knocks it down and makes a strong throw to first base. And as Paul said, 14 wins, pretty hard to argue with. Big stars, a lot of emotion in this game. Final game of the 4-game set. When we come back, lineups, first pitch, baseball next on Yes. Former Yankee farmhand Austin Jackson, the center fielder, leads off. Batting second and playing second, Will Rhymes. Ryan Rayburns in right field. He'll hit third. Cleaning up, Miguel Cabrera. Boy, has he cleaned up in this series. He's the first baseman. Johnny Damon, the DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth and playing shortstop, Johnny Peralta. Brandon Inge, the third baseman, hit seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Alex Avila. And Don Kelly in left field is going to bat ninth.
That Tiger lineup going to go to work against Phil Hughes. 14-5 with a 3.94. We'll take a look at some of the other numbers on the year. 134 and 2/3 innings, only 128 hits, and only 38 walks. Outstanding number. Take a look at our scouting report. He's come a long way since spring training, locking down that number 5 spot in the rotation. Now you'd probably say he's number 3. You could argue maybe the second most consistent starter for the New York Yankees, and he didn't strike anybody out his last time out, but that's all right. He picked up the win, number 14. And in that game, Alex Rodriguez hit his 3 home runs. He will not have Alex in the lineup this afternoon, so he's going to hope for some other production from some of the other Yankees.
Let's take a look at some of the other Yankees who will be behind him defensively. And it's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher left to right in the outfield. Infield, Pena, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira. Posada's behind the plate, and Phil Hughes is on the mound. Now, you heard this on our pregame show with Kimberly and Bob Lorenz, but the Yankees made a roster move before the game as they DL'd Lance Berkman, hurt his ankle in Kansas City. And so he goes on the DL, and they bring up Eduardo Nunez, who's been a very productive young player for them at Scranton Wilkes-Barre. And Joe Girardi simply needed another infielder because with Alex out and Pena playing third, there's Nunez. The only backup infielder they had was Francisco Cervelli, and he could only play third. So this gives Joe some maneuverability and some options. So Nunez is on the bench, and Lance Berkman is on the DL. Yankees want this one. Yesterday, Curtis Granderson told Kimberly on the field after the game, this is a must-win. We can't keep splitting series. We've got to win this one. It's hard to win 4-game sets, but they have the option, and they have the chance. If they win this one, they take 3 out of 4. Jim Leland, we'll see if he's still hot like he was last night.
He cooled off.
I wonder. Austin Jackson's ready, and Phil Hughes is ready. Hope you're ready. Matinee here in the Bronx. Let's do it. And the right-hander deals, and we're underway.
that you told me. Probably about 108, 109. I just heard first pitch 109.
There you go. Pitch is low, 2-0. A little bit of a strange season for Hughes. You look at his numbers, 14-5, as Paul said in segment 2. You can't argue with that. 14-5 is what it is. It's outstanding. Fouled away. But in his first 5 starts, Hughes was 5-0, 1.38. In his middle 11, 6-3, which isn't that bad, but a 5.51 ERA. Now in his last starts, his last 5, 3-2, 3.77. So don't know if he ran into a dead arm period in the middle there. Lee caught up with him, but he didn't lose games. And his record is outstanding. Now in his sky toward right field, Swisher is there, and he'll make the play for the first out. Now let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. And these are just words and numbers. It's a gorgeous day. 84 degrees, humidity 41%, not much wind. And the forecast is for clear and sunny. John, any rhyme or reason why he's had that up and down with the ERA?
Well, I mean, you think back to the beginning of the year, and you can't throw the ball any better than Phil Hughes did. And he was throwing fastballs right by people, challenging. I thought that middle stretch, you said the ERA up over 5, maybe the ball not as overpowering, the fastball. And the last couple of starts, I thought his fastball kind of came back for Phil Hughes. I mentioned he did not strike out anybody his last time out against the Royals, but did pick up the win. Looks like fastball down a little bit early on this afternoon.
Foul back.
Well, you can take that about everybody. I mean, Robbie Cano was hitting 400 early in the year. Now he's hitting 330. Well, 330 is still a great year. But, I mean, what are you living up to if you're Phil Hughes? You're having a great year. You have an opportunity to pitch down the stretch here in big games. I mean, you just can't ask for anything more.
Now he is on that innings limit. We don't exactly know what it is, but we can guess it's about 175. And Joe Girardi was asked before the game, do you have plans to skip starts with Hughes? He goes, I can't tell you what the plans are. He said, because I don't know how many innings he's going to go in each start. What if he has a 2-inning start? Then you don't have to skip a start. So everything is fluid right now. And if it is 175, then he's 41 innings away from getting to that point. The 0-2. Foul back.
I think the greatest compliment you can give to Phil Hughes, and you mentioned it before, Michael, he's been able to win ball games when he hasn't gone out there with his good stuff. Now, is that the Yankees who've scored a lot of runs for him, or are he finding a way to keep his club in the ball game? The bottom line, 14 wins here in the middle of August, middle to the end of August.
Foul back, coming at him with fastballs, Will Rhymes.
I wish it was the middle of August. I'm looking at school starting next week when I get home. I mean, it's kind of miss that summer going by.
Yankees are 16-6 when Hughes starts this year. That's a 727 winning percentage, 4th highest in the American League with a minimum of 20 starts. And that's how pitchers are judged. You can get fancy with ERAs, but did you win or lose the game? Past a diving Pena and down the left field line. Gardner's there, and he's going to hold Rhymes to a single. So Will Rhymes called up when Guillen was put on the DL, picks up a single. Now, Porcello and Hughes threw 50 starts. You see the comparison. Hughes' numbers are better, 8 games over 500. The ERA is about the same. Porcello started off great and then has really hit the skids. And Hughes didn't start off that great, and he's been great in his last 25 starts. Here's Ryan Rayburn. Bunted and fouled away. Now, there's also a little bit of a subtext to this game, maybe a sidebar if you want to go that way. Johnny Damon in the papers today said that he thought that Brett Gardner slide that didn't break up the double play in the first game was not a clean slide. He thought it was a dirty slide. Now, Jim Leland has publicly said he didn't think there was anything wrong with it, but Brett Gardner was hit yesterday with the first pitch of the first inning by Jeremy Bonderman. Both benches were warned. Later on in the game, Chad Godin hit Miguel Cabrera. Nothing happened. Home plate umpire Eric Cooper didn't throw anybody out. And then the next inning, Enrique Gonzalez threw behind Yankee captain Derek Jeter. So is it over, Or is it something that still simmers as we go into this game? It's something that we'll watch.
You know, these teams might have been warm before the game starts. A lot of times umpires will do that. That we don't know. But, you know, it was handled strangely yesterday. There's no doubt about it.
Swing and a miss. Rayburn down on strikes. This is the video resume of how it happened. There's a slide by Gardner. There's Gardner getting plunked in the first inning. There's the warning by Eric Cooper. Then, after hitting 2 home runs, Cabrera gets plunked. Jim Leland says, how do you not throw him out of the game? He gets thrown out of the game, has a long talk, and then the ball is thrown behind Derek Jeter, and Eric Cooper is just a spectator. So that's where we are right now, and we'll keep an eye on it if anything's close. Cabrera's been fun to watch. If you're a Tiger fan in this series, he's a special player with special power.
Well, obviously, we don't know what's going on in the clubhouses for both teams, but I would think the Yankees would say, it's over, let's play baseball. But when your cleanup hitter Cabrera hits 2 home runs last night and gets hit at the end of the game, you wonder maybe if there's a pitcher or somebody in that clubhouse who wants a little payback will pay attention.
You get back to where you are in the season and what's going on in the Yankee season. I mean, you're tied with, you know, you're not running away with the division. So, you know, you kind of throw these things away and you worry about winning games. And I said it last night, you have far more to lose to get into these wars with these teams that are going home in October.
One quick thing, John, I'm wondering. They threw behind Jeter. They didn't hit him. Does that count as if they did their job? Or do you have to hit somebody to do your job?
If I was a teammate, I'd say it's a message that you didn't do your job. Your cleanup hitter took one up and in after hitting 2 home runs.
Up and in the rib.
Yeah.
The 0-2 fouled away. Now, these are the 2 home runs that Cabrera hit. One, he turned on an inside pitch and drilled it deep into the seats and left. And then not a terrible pitch by Mosley. Maybe a little up, but away, and he drives it into the seats. He's a quality hitter. Now, Joe Girardi insisted after the game, I didn't want anybody thrown out there. He said, he said, I understand why it would look that way after he hit the 2 home runs. He said, but I don't want to use Robertson and Rivera. That pitch is upstairs. But he did admit, he said, if I'm the Tigers, I could see why it looks that way because he hit the 2 home runs. And Chad Godin said, I didn't do it on purpose, but not very often that a pitcher would say, yeah, I did it on purpose.
Oh, Flash, you got to know as a catcher that Cabrera can't have pitches thrown out. And then, I mean, if he moves his feet a lot today, it can open up a lot real quick. And you've got to be careful and know as a catcher if it is over, great. But all of a sudden, if you flip Cabrera unintentionally or intentionally, things can open up in a hurry.
Game on, right?
Actually, you know, if you look at it, Cabrera should have a fun day at the plate. He can kind of dig in there and not worry about things.
Leland was repeatedly asked about the incidents after the game, and he kept saying, next question. Count 3-2, so that's going to release Will Rhymes at first with 2 outs and a 3-2 count. He kept saying, next question, next question. Just underway here at the stadium on a Thursday matinee, Yankees and the Tigers. Off-speed pitch is drilled deep to right center. Granderson back, looking up. See ya. Didn't even look like he hit that hard. Another home run by Cabrera. His 31st of the year, his 4th of the series, and 2 runs for the Tigers on 1 swing.
You got to remind yourself this guy's only 27 years old. His 4th home run of the series, and this is impressive. A 3-2 curveball. And you can tell he knew he hit it well. That ball just kept carrying to right center field. That is an impressive home run. You can talk about the home run last night that he pulled that went a long way. But when you can sit back on a 3-2 curveball and drive it into the bullpen in right center field, that's a pretty impressive home run.
Well, he threw a lot of hard stuff, and it might have been the first curveball he saw in the count. I don't know. And you see his first curveball in a 3-2 count and hit it out to right center like that. obviously he doesn't hit like this every series, or he'd have 100 home runs by now. But I mean, it's just a great player, a great hitter going through a hot streak, and you really, as a fan, have to enjoy watching a guy as good as he is going through this streak.
And that 2-run home run now gives him 100 RBIs on the year, and also continues a little bit of a disturbing trend for Phil Hughes. He's given up 18 home runs this year, and 16 of them have come at home. 1-2. Strike 3. Damon down looking. But damage done against Phil Hughes. A single by Will Rhymes, and then a 2-run home run by Miguel Cabrera. Tigers 2. Yankees coming to bat. Which is presented by Lexus, and they will try to make up the 2 runs that Miguel Cabrera got on that one swing. Brett Gardner in left field leads off. Batting second and playing shortstop, Derek Jeter. He's the captain. Mark Teixeira is at first. Robinson Cano at second. Nick Swisher bats fifth and play right field. Jorge Posada will catch. Granderson in center. Austin Kearns, the DH, bats eighth. And Ramiro Pena, third base, will bat ninth.
Michael, you said it. I mean, you make up this ground, you get back into this game, and then from today on, I don't care if you bounce 4 balls. You cannot let Cabrera continue to do this in this series. I mean, enough's enough. I mean, it's just he's doing too much offensively to even pitch to him at this point.
See, the numbers for Rick Porcello are down this year, 5 and 10, a 5.53. We'll take a look at our scanner report on Porcello. A little bit of a sophomore slump. He had a nice year last year, but this year it's been a little bit tough. Actually had to go down to AAA for 4 starts. And he's made some adjustments. Instead of just mainly 2-seam fastballs, you're seeing a couple of 4-seamers and some sliders. I'm sure you had to borrow some tickets today from Seton Hall Prep.
So Brett Gardner will dig in. And Gardner will take a pitch outside.
We saw Porcello in spring training pitch against the Yankees. It was pretty much 5 innings of a power sinker. He didn't have that 2-seamer early on in the year, and that's why he struggled a little bit. Talk to people around the Tigers now. They say some more 4-seamers up, some more sliders, more of a complete pitcher.
That one is tapped back to the mound. Porcello bare hands fires, and they get Gardner for the first out.
Well, that's knowing your hitter right there and his speed to come off of a little 2-hopper back there, and you barehanded to know that it's going to be a close play.
Let me throw this at you, John. And you see Gardner hustling down first. Rick Porcello, you said out of Seton Hall Prep, boom, gets drafted, and he's in the big leagues. He threw 170 and 2/3 innings last year. We keep talking about innings limits and things like that. That's a lot of innings for a 20-year-old. Do you think that that's being manifested now with that 5-point-whatever ERA?
You know, there's a possibility. I'm sure that's going to be in the discussion. But I just remember vividly this game he threw against the Yankees in spring training. And it was with 1 pitch, a power sinker, about 94, 95. And I said, this kid's going to win 20 games this year. I mean, his stuff was that good. And then just got off to a bad start, lost his sinker. You talk to people around the Tigers, they say it was losing the 2-seamer more than the innings. But it's going to be debated. It's going to be argued.
Now, in fairness to the Tigers, in 2008, after he was drafted, he threw 125 innings with Lakeland. a low-level minor league club in the Tiger system. And with all the research and due diligence that teams do, they say you can increase by 40 to 45 innings each year. You don't want to go that much more. Lined right at Cabrera. Well, that being said, 125 to 170 is not an undue workload increase.
No, I don't think so. And I mentioned the scouting report, a sophomore slump, and Paul could talk to this. It's not that easy to come up here and have that kind of success, and then the next year come back and have a better year. I mean, it's a game of adjustments.
Yeah, you just figure you go through your first year, you show up, and you just think things are going to be the same as a hitter. I mean, different years, and, you know, if you do, I mean, if you're a sinker ball pitcher and you lose a little bit of movement on your two-seamer, it's a completely different ballgame. But I did see some tape in the locker room today, and I tell you what, this was from last year, and his sinker, I mean, it almost had curveball movement.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Morristown, New Jersey is where he was born. He went to Seton Hall Prep, which is in West Orange. He was the 27th overall draft pick in 2007. That 1 year in the minors in 08. 20-year-old, he comes up, and he really pitches beautifully for the Tigers last year. And in fact, he won 14 games, and that's the most that any 20-year-old has ever won in the Tiger organization's history. Still lives in New Jersey during the offseason. Hot shot, and right at Rhymes. So a 1-2-3 inning for Porcello and the Tigers. They did it on just 10 pitches as the Yankees go down in order. We go to the second. Tigers 2, Yankees nothing. Which of these two players would you rather have on your team? This is a good question. You can text us at 58772, and standard text messaging rates apply. Here are your choices. Would you rather have Miguel Cabrera or Albert Pujols? Now, that's like the old saying, you know, if you had the first draft pick and the second draft pick in the NBA draft, would you take Magic Johnson or Larry Bird? You take Magic? Okay, I'll take Bird.
Right.
You take Bird? Okay, I'll take Magic. Which one would you take, Paul? I think I'd take Pujols.
Well, Pujols has been through playoffs and things like that, but I mean, Cabrera, after watching this series, I mean, it's just, you're right, you can flip a coin.
Swing and a miss. I'll tell you what, though, his career was teetering at the end of last year. He got in trouble, a domestic issue. He had a breathalyzer test where he was 3 times over the legal limit. And he said, that one was punched right side and through for base hit, that he was going to rededicate himself. Because for him to get into that trouble in the last week of the year, when they're playing the Twins and they have to win those games, and they're trying to hold on to win the Central, it reflected very poorly on Cabrera. But he's come back, and he's in great shape, and he's living a better life, he said. And, boy, he's putting up great numbers. Might have an MVP. Here's Brandon Inge. swing and a miss.
Well, I'll tell you what, on the Christmas gift list for the Tigers, when you go to the offseason this year, you know, if Ordonez is not back next year, that's the main concern, is to find somebody to hit behind him. You're going to have to protect him offensively where you just can't pitch around him.
Now, a lot of things, you know, a lot of people forget this, but he was 20 years old when he played in the World Series. He actually was on the World Series Marlins team, so he's got that under his belt as well. And the Tigers have him signed long-term. March of 2008, they signed him to an 8-year, $152 million contract. Fourth largest contract in baseball history. And the incident that we're talking about occurred on October 3rd of last year. And Cabrera was picked up at the police station that Saturday, the last Saturday of the regular season, at 7:30 a.m. And he was picked up by Tiger GM Dave Dombrowski. That's probably not a great ride home. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. So they count 3-2 on Inge. And the pitch. Foul back.
Swing and misses you see early in the year with Phil Hughes. Now you see a lot of foul balls, a lot more longer counts, and I don't know if he's, you know, short a little bit, if he's lost his curveball just a little bit. I mean, obviously still very, very good, sharp, throwing strikes, but again, I mean, a lot of these balls you saw batters swinging through early in the year for strikeouts, and now they're foul balls.
I know I talk a lot about velocity. Beginning of the year, 95. You know, I mean, obviously fresh coming out of spring training. Now it's about 92. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe it's location.
So the runner was going on that 3-2. Let's see if he goes again. He does. That one's popped up. Nick Swisher is there for the first out.
What's so impressive about CC Sabathia is, as the year goes on, he gets stronger. I mean, he comes out, obviously he got off to a good start this year, but I mean, you just had a game in Kansas City, was throwing 98 miles an hour. I mean, so he hits his stride late in the season, where a lot of younger pitchers that aren't used to the longer season starts to wear on them a little bit.
Eats up the innings 8 2/3, and if you look at Phil Hughes, his last 6 outings, he's pitched into finished 6 innings twice. The other couple were 5 innings. It's all because of that pitch count being elevated with all the foul balls, not being able to put a hitter away.
Alex Avila fouls it away.
It's kind of like what we talked about with Porcello. I mean, you got to make the adjustments and get through a full major league season, making your starts. And you hope if you're the Yankees, it comes back next year that much better.
We'll talk with Porcello and pitching coach Rick Knapp. Those are the numbers on Avila. He's 11 for his last 58. A little bit of a slide. Younger players get tested in August. I mean, it's long been called the dog days of August, and you really start to feel it. This is a season that's a grind, and it really is the test of a player and a champion. It's the longest season in professional sports.
Much more fun to be on the Yankees side, where you come to the ballpark and you're tied for a division. You're working to win games. It gives you adrenaline every day. And some of these other teams that are out, it becomes such a personal game. You start thinking about yourself. How do you finish? What kind of numbers you're going to have? And it takes, when you're out there trying to win as a team, it takes a lot of that pressure off you as an individual.
been on a lot of bad clubs, and you almost look forward to coming into Yankee Stadium, not necessarily to play the team, but the environment. It's a big crowd, yeah. Everybody's into it. Easier to get up for these games.
1-2. Just got a piece, and just what the guys were talking about: foul ball, not putting away, and that means you have 100 pitches after 5 innings. Right now he's at 39 and just 1 out into the second.
I turned on the TV last week or a while ago when the Yankees were playing Beckett and the Red Sox, and that's the one thing I noticed with him. It was strike 1, strike 2, but then you didn't see the strikeout, the put away pitch, and just a huge difference in a power pitcher.
And we talk about it all the time with Phil Hughes, this innings limit, but you bring that up, he pitches 5 innings with 100 pitches. Those 5 innings are a lot more work maybe than some other innings. Right. So, who's to say it's a harder inning? You throw 175. There's a lot that goes into it.
Pitch outside.
You wonder down the road, and I'm trying to get into a pitcher's mind if it does become an issue about the innings pitched, whether you would prefer starting and knowing you're only going 5 innings, or whether you would rather just get skipped at a turn and know that you can go out and go 7, 8 if you got your good stuff.
Rounded up the middle. Bobble by Cano, bobble by Jeter, but they get the force. That was a surefire double play, but the 2 bobbles cost the Yankees. And now Hughes will have to face another batter.
And again, you start talking about pitch counts. This is going to add on to it. And Robinson Cano is so sure-handed, has trouble, and then recuperates a little bit. Derek Jeter has trouble, but then is able to at least get the 1 out at second. But you're right, Michael. This is pretty much a tailor-made double play the Yankees aren't able to execute.
You know what, and I hate to even bring this up again, but if you're on that Detroit Tigers thing, and a lot of people, back to the Brett Gardner thing, and if you get an opportunity to break up a double play, or you get an opportunity to go in hard to make Jeet leave his feet, that's another way to get back to realize, this is, if we're going to play this way, everybody's going hard for second base. See, Peralta really didn't do that.
Rounded to first. Teixeira touches the bag, and that will do it. No runs are hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Robinson Cano is going to lead off. Never know what's going to happen. 2 home runs in this series alone, and he'll start it off against Porcello. And the journey continues with the Mariners coming into town tomorrow night and Friday and Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Then the Yankees hit the road. 3 night games in Toronto, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday is an off day. Nice city to have an off day, Chicago. And then 2 night games against the White Sox, and then the Sunday 2:05. And that's the upcoming schedule, thanks to Amtrak.
I tell you, I was looking at the Yankees schedule, and their September. I mean, there's you never look. I mean, the Yankees, in my mind, on paper, are the best team. So you never look at dreading a series by any means. But they have some tough road trips: Texas, Tampa Bay, and obviously at the end, you've got 6 out of your last 9 games, I think, against the Red Sox. So they have a tough road in September. Hopefully, your pitching's back, your offense is. It's a great opportunity to run away with the division too when you're playing Tampa Bay and Boston.
There's a middle stretch in September when they're on the road. 3 games in Texas and then 3 games in Tampa Bay. Those are tough games. Hard ground ball is short, and there's one away. Let's take a look at the Tiger defense, and it's brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, it's Kelly, Jackson, and Rayburn. That's left to right. Infield, Inge, Peralta, Rhymes, and Cabrera, third to first. Avila behind the plate, and Porcello on the mound. Porcello was sent down to AAA on June 20th, called up on July 17th, called back up. And boy, what a cold splash of water that must be. Had such a great rookie season at the age of 20. All of a sudden he's down with the Toledo Mudhens in June and July. But he has pitched better since coming up. At Toledo, he was 1-2 with a 3.21 ERA.
Flash, we kind of jokingly brought up, a trip to the Mudhens will fix anybody. But, Scherzer, who threw the first night, and it's anybody that's in the major leagues and gets sent back down to the minor leagues for any time. It is a wake-up call, and it helps some people, and it can absolutely destroy others.
What a nice play by Rhymes. He took a base hit away from Swisher. The Will Rhymes ranges to his right, backhand, smothers, and then throws a strike.
Nice first at bat, too, going the other way for a base hit. Here going to his right. Good strong throw to Cabrera. Paul, isn't that trip to the minor leagues all about attitude, though? If you go down there with the wrong attitude, it could be a long stay. If you go down there with the right attitude, you get back quickly. Oh, there's people that sulk and go down there and do nothing at the AAA level. Do you think the Major League Club cares? No. Yeah, finish up down there, fine. But you could also show why you belong in the Major Leagues. Go down there and have a good week, a good start. You're right back, and confidence is back.
Pitch to Posada Law. I'll tell you, Paul, I would definitely sulk. I would be a guy that would sulk. Yeah.
Well, I was one of them who, I got sent down a couple times, and I tell you what, it's a huge adjustment because you come from the bright lights back down to, the bush. They're not called the Bush Leagues for nothing, and it's a wake-up call. In my case, it wasn't really that I wasn't getting an opportunity to play because I was playing behind guys, Tony Perez and some of the veterans. It just was a lack of opportunity, and they say, we need you to play. Well, it didn't help. When you go down to the minor leagues, I'd rather sit the bench in the major leagues. When you're young, that's what you'd rather do.
But I actually had one of those wake-up calls. In 90, I was in AAA. In 91, I get sent back down to AA. And the manager there, Gary Allenson, who's now the third base coach for the Orioles, he said, hey, we can do this 2 ways. You can give up the first month of the season, have a bad attitude, or you can get off to a great start and show the organization they made a mistake. Take it personal. Best advice I had ever gotten.
Was it hard to do, though? Was it hard to say, you know what, this is good advice?
It wasn't the way he presented it to me. When I went to that AA field, I was in a bad place. The organization, I'm getting the short end of the stick. This isn't my fault. And I'll tell you what, after a 5-minute conversation, I was ready to go and had a great first month, ended right back up in AAA. Good advice from a solid baseball guy, Gary Allenson.
Well, Porcello's ERA in his first 13 starts was 6.14. In the 6 starts since coming back, 4.42. So still not great, but certainly he shaved about 2 runs off his ERA. And when they sent him down, they're still in the pennant race. Now, they're on the fringes right now, but it doesn't seem likely they'll make up all that ground. But they needed to straighten him out. They need this guy.
The pennant race that they would have been in, obviously, against the Minnesota Twins. And I saw last night, he hit his first home run at Target Field last night.
Yeah.
Wow. There's one of your power hitters that hits his first home run in late August at home.
That ain't the Metrodome.
No. There might be some adjustments for that fellow over the offseason. You never know.
Well, they signed him for that big money deal. You think you'd have a stadium that would suit him. But as long as they win, I'm sure that's how he thinks. And they've got a nice lead in the Central now as Posada walks. He hasn't hit homers anywhere, though.
Yeah, he's down.
Yeah, he's down completely. He hasn't hit homers on the road either. So here's Granderson. Granderson, 5 for his last 10, 9 for his last 26. And his average is up to 248. By the way, the total for Mauer is 8 home runs, so he has 7 on the road. He had 28 last year. That's a big drop. Swing and a miss. Last year, Granderson hit 30 home runs for the Tigers, and everybody starts to do the math. I know I did. Well, if you hit 30 home runs in Comerica, isn't that 40 at Yankee Stadium? It hasn't turned out that way. He has 12. He has 13. He hit his 13th yesterday. And he strikes out against Porcello, who went upstairs with the fastball. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We played 2 at the stadium. Tigers lead the Yankees 2-0 on Yes. We check in with our good friend and colleague, Kimberly Jones. And Kim, it's been a great week. Forget about on the field, but off the field for the Yankees, and it continues today as Hope Week continues the second year. And if it could be better than last year, it looks like it's shaping up that way.
I'll tell you what, Michael, it is a beautiful day, and we have beautiful people here. The You Are Beautiful People organization is a guest of the Yankees and Hope Week today, and it's an organization founded by Peter Ladka in Orange County, New York, to allow special needs children to enjoy team sports like mainstream children do. So they play baseball, they play soccer with the accompaniment of buddies, a family member, a friend, a volunteer who goes with them along the bases or in the field. You get the idea. Well, the group thought they were coming to see a game at Yankee Stadium today, and they were fired up about that and very excited, but it got better in a hurry. Before the game, Mark Teixeira visited with the beautiful people, and he told them, not only are you going to watch our game, you're going to play a game after hours, and you will be accompanied by Yankees. Yankees players and coaches will be the buddies for that second game of this doubleheader, Michael, and you can imagine the smiles and the excitement off the charts.
It really has been, and everything the Yankees have done and the organization has done this week, and now to add just a little bit more of a special part to this is that the bleacher creatures are going to be involved as well.
These kids are going to really get an authentic Yankee Stadium experience, Michael. The bleacher creatures reached out to the PR department. They wanted to stay for the game and greet the children like they greet the Yankees with the roll call. So can you imagine those moments when they happen? Nice job by the bleacher creatures, and those will be unforgettable moments for the kids, their families, their friends, everyone here at the stadium after this game.
Will Rhymes wraps his second hit of the day, this one into right field, a one-out single in the third. You know, Kim, I was talking with Jason Zillow, the Yankees head of media relations, and this is really his idea, and it's grown into this beautiful thing. And I said, you know what amazes me is that you see players that are getting up in the morning, they've got night games, and it doesn't even seem like they mind doing it. He said, Mike, they want to do it, and you found the same thing.
Absolutely, and Zillow will tell you he had players rushing to the sign-up sheets when he explained these 5 stories to them prior to the week. And a lot of pitchers taking part today. Pettit, Burnett, Javi Vasquez, Jorge Posada will be here. We know the challenges young Jorge has faced and overcome in his life, Jorge's son, Jorge Jr., and there will also be some coaches here. I talked to Javi Vasquez, who said, this is very special to me. I have a daughter who has diabetes. I know how tough it can be for kids who have different challenges to overcome. He said, you know, the funny thing is sometimes when you help others, you are given a different perspective. He said, baseball isn't always the most important thing in your life. And Michael, that is what you hear consistently in that clubhouse this week. And you know what? It'll be true in the days and weeks following Hope Week.
Absolutely, Kim. And these players rising above just, you know, going out on the field and playing the game. Great job by you highlighting these stories throughout the week. And I'm sure we'll have another one tomorrow, Kim.
Sounds good, Michael. Thank you.
Now, what I also want to do at this point is, you know, Jason Zillow's staff has meant so much to putting this all together, and I want to give them name credit because they deserve it. Jason Latimer, Michael Margolis, Lauren Moran, Kenny Leandri, Connie Schwab, and Dolores Hernandez. They all have done a great job, and they've worked 20-hour days to get this done as Miguel Cabrera flies out to center field, and that'll do it in the third inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. We go to the bottom of the third, 2-0 Tigers. Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the New York Yankees. We go to the bottom of the third inning. Yankees are trailing 3-0. Rick Porcello on the mound. He has retired the Yankees without a hit. He's walked one batter over the first two. And here is Austin Kearns, who had a big hit in yesterday's game. 2-run double with the bases loaded. Count 1-0. Now, I mentioned the people that work in Jason Zillow's office, and I don't want to leave anybody out because I think the Hope Week initiative is such a strong thing that the Yankees are doing, and it's being recognized around the country. Actually, Brian Williams on the NBC Nightly News had a story as well, and I just think that's tremendous that everyone around the country is noting what is being done here. And I just want to mention the interns that work for Jason and his crew in that office, and it's Ian Johns, Alex Trochanowski, and Lacey Willman. They all do a great job. And again, Jason was telling me they are working without complaint 16 to 20 hours a day this whole week, in addition to doing their baseball work. So just great stuff for all of them, and we thank them.
Did you notice down in the camera well how Kim was so cool, calm, collected? The cameraman just beating up sweat. I've tried. It just didn't make sense to me. It was like she was in a different camera well or something.
You know why? Because she's got a general cool about her.
Is that? Okay.
Yeah. Other people just, they flop sweat, but Kim knows she's not going to flop, so she doesn't sweat. 3-2. Strike three. Kern's down looking, and now he's looking back at Chad Fairchild, the home plate ump.
I'll tell you what, Phil Hughes is saying, give me some of these pitches, because there have been some questionable ones that he has not gotten the call from. Chad Fairchild. Porcello down and away. That's a perfect pitcher's pitch, but he gets the call.
Oh, just in the other batter's box.
Talking like a catcher.
You know, that white line in the other batter's box, not the strike zone. Sometimes they get that mixed up from the white at the plate, I think.
Inside.
Michael, you mentioned, Jason Zillow and his staff and what a great job they're doing. It's like every day you show up, the stories get better and better. I mean, it's just a fantastic week.
He was telling me last week, John, that the hardest thing they have is because of Hope Week last year, there were so many people that submitted stories. He said just to whittle them down, he said they're all worthy.
Right, yeah.
He said, but, there's a baseball season to be played as well, so you have to, you kind of whittle it down to 5 or 6 and hope that those are the best ones that you choose.
We haven't been disappointed so far.
No, not at all. Pena at third base again. Alex Rodriguez, Joe Girardi said, maybe available to pinch hit later, but he was receiving treatment on that calf issue. There's a ground ball to Cabrera, and he flips to Porcello to make the play. And Porcello and Pena say, it's cool that we ran into each other, and there's 2 there.
That's what you said when you ran into the first baseman. Hey, cool to see you. Huh?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the footwork over there is a little off.
This is one of those things, if you don't know the pitcher's personality, when he turns and looks at you, whether your first reaction, you're a competitor, you don't know what he has on his mind.
Well, he couldn't exactly blame Pena for running into him. He blocked the base.
His feet mixed up, obviously. There's some pitchers that you almost hope you get a play like that so you can give him a little elbow or something. The guys that just wear you out at the plate. A little nubber to the right side. You just see if he's going to cover, and maybe you can time it to get there at the same time.
But I need a name. Who's the pitcher that you would like to run over?
Well, Pedro wasn't real easy to hit.
The 2-0. There's a strike. Time for the GE Capital partner play. Great partnerships are built on trust. And GE Capital, we prove that every day. And Cabrera and Porcello prove that.
See, that's a bad angle for Porcello. He was over there. You're taught as a pitcher to go down the line and come up the line, so you're going straight towards the bag. And he was kind of caught nowheresville there for a minute.
Caught in between whether he can make the play and take it himself.
3-1. Strike. 3-2.
There's that sinker there. I mean, that had just downward, just straight downward motion. It's not a tailer. It's not a runner. It's just, you don't see that a lot, even from a good sinker ball pitcher.
Rounded up the middle. Grimes That's a nice play by the Tigers' second baseman to get Brett Gardner to the final out of the third. So the Yankees go down in order, 1-2-3. We played 3 in the Bronx. Tigers 2, and the Yankees nothing. Hughes gave up 3 home runs in his first career start against the Tigers. That was August 26, 2007. Who hit those home runs?
They all one person, and we need 3.
I think you need 3. Johnny Damon takes a pitch inside. Now, you mentioned Pedro Martinez. I thought this was a fascinating stat coming out of last night's game. Kerry Wood registered his 1,500th strikeout of his career last night. That was when he struck out Ramon Santiago in the 7th inning. He reached that milestone in fewer innings than any pitcher in Major League history. Now, the pitchers with the fewest innings at the time of their 1,500th career strikeout, before Wood, it was Pedro Martinez. So Wood did it in 1,303 innings. Pedro did it in 1,337. Randy Johnson, 1,365 and 2/3. Nolan Ryan, 1,384 and 2/3. And Sam McDowell, 1,431 and 1/3. Quickest ever. Well, he got 20 in one fell swoop.
Yeah. It's off to a good start. Yeah. Did you hear his quotes after the game last night?
No.
I could really appreciate it because, he had a good outing and got some big outs. But he said, it would have been a perfect outing if I wouldn't have hung that one curveball. So, he's a perfectionist. He knew he missed on one pitch to Austin Jackson. He had that 2-strike count, and he kind of hung a curveball, and he got a base hit. But realizes that a pitch like that in his situation could really hurt him. So, he went home with a great feeling. I got the big outs, helped this team win a game, but I got to improve on not hanging that curveball. And I always love to hear players realize the good and the bad in an outing.
(3-2) on Johnny Damon. And the pitch. Shattered bat, popped up, giving chase. It's Teixeira, and he makes the play. Oh, what a play by Teixeira. That's a Gold Glove play from a Gold Glove first baseman.
Mark Teixeira made a play like this in Kansas City, but he made it clean here. He's got to keep his concentration. Juggling the baseball in the glove, pops out a couple of times. Like a wide receiver going down the line here, concentrating.
A lot of concentration there. As you're falling, to know that ball is not in your glove.
That's on the IOTV HD Super Shot. That is some play. And Peralta hits one deep to left center field. Granderson and Gardner. And the play is made by Curtis Granderson. Two outstanding defensive plays for the first 2 outs of this inning. They avoided a nasty collision and still made the play.
I'll tell you what, the play before was on a bloop, and this is a blast, and this is a tough, tough play because you've got two good outfielders, both with good speed. Thank goodness they had different angles. Brett Gardner comes down with the ball. Tough play for either one of those guys, but you know, the reason this happened is you have you've got two center fielders there, basically. Both of them cover a lot of ground. See, Bernie never had to worry about running into me out in right center field because he was always there by himself. Well, Granderson caught that ball.
Let's say a little contact on Brett Gardner's glove, and Curtis Granderson ended up with it. How do you score that? Just a fly ball to the center fielder, I'm being informed.
Granderson's had quite a series defensively and offensively, but it's amazing how you, as a player, when things go, look at this, they want a replay on the large screen up there. My point was, it seems like when you go well offensively, it's like your whole game gets picked up. You just feel good about running out there and playing. Again, Curtis Granderson has made some great plays defensively in this series. Hooting and hollering going here, Michael. A lot of people having some fun down here. Looking right below us at the picnic tables there.
Count 2-2.
I'll tell you what, Phil Hughes is not getting the close pitches from Chad Fairchild. And we saw Austin Kearns get rung up on strike 3 and a questionable call. 2 pitches to this at bat to Brandon Inge that Phil Hughes has not gotten.
Swing and a miss. Fastball by Inge. A 1-2-3 inning, but it took some unbelievable leather to get there. First, Mark Teixeira in foul territory. He makes the out on Johnny Damon. Then Johnny Peralta gets robbed of an extra base hit by Curtis Granderson. Time for the answer to the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Phil Hughes gave up 3 home runs in his first career start against the Tigers. That was August 26th of 07. Who hit those home runs? Granderson, Timms, and Guillen. He got so ticked off he had the Yankees acquire 2 of them. Count 0-1 to Jeter. Jeter lined out to first in the first inning. Yankees still have not had a hit against Porcello. Quick story, Paul. You'll love this. John and I, last night, were looking forward to going home. Now, separate homes, obviously.
Yeah, I'm glad you...
and we had both independently DVR'd Hard Knocks on HBO.
Well, all right, we were talking about this last night.
All right, so
okay.
John's a big Jet fan, and I like the Jets. I like Rex Ryan a lot, so I wanted to see the show. It's an outstanding show. So I went home and I watched it. So John comes in, I go, "What'd you think?" And he goes, I never saw it. Now, John, tell him why.
Well, see, we had a little problem. I was all excited when I got home, and I'll admit it, I poured myself a nice glass of red. I'm going to say I'm going to enjoy this Hard Knocks. And as I turn on the DVR, I taped it on HBO Latino.
You know what? That is what you do. You made the one big mistake that think you can do electronics. You got to call your kids to do these things.
I just didn't pay attention that it was going to be in Spanish.
Ground ball up the middle.
Did you push the SAP button so you get it back in English?
Oh, man. So did you take Spanish in college or high school?
I took it in high school, but the only thing I know is uno más cerveza, por favor. That's it. So when it started,
you were drinking wine. That wouldn't even work either.
Didn't help me.
Wow.
So then you would call this, what, a conundrum? Is that the word you like to use?
Yeah, we heard that a lot last night.
The conundrum was, I didn't think about HBO on demand, but I go and to the guide, and I find that it's going to be replayed at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I tape that. But then you're sitting there with a nice glass of red. Do you stay up until 1 o'clock?
No, by that time, I might just hold off a day or something.
That's exactly what I did.
This one's probably, you get home, this one's probably in French or something. Do I get this in Ohio, or is this just a New York show?
What do you mean?
This Jets thing, is it only
all over. Okay. Teixeira picks up a hit, the Yankees' first hit of the afternoon. Yeah, they did the Bengals last year.
They did, but I don't think Marvin Lewis is quite, he doesn't have the personality that Rex Ryan had, so I might have to tune in this. I like the Jets. It should be a good year for them. That's hilarious.
That is great.
Yes, don't tell me what happened.
This is a great point for me tonight when I go home. Why I don't mess with computers, why I don't do this stuff. You call the kids, it's done right.
But you have grown, Paul, because since you started working with us, now you're a text maniac.
Yeah.
You never were able to do that.
You know what? And I do need, thanks for reminding me, I do need to fix that on the way home, too, because now I have to text out the whole word. Allie had it set up so I would text it almost itself.
Base hit for Cano. Teixeira goes to third, and the Yankees are rallying. First and third with one man out. Back-to-back singles by Teixeira and Cano.
You see Porcello is still getting some ground balls, but they're starting to find some holes now. A little two-seamer. Robinson gets the bat head out, pulls it right in between the hole. Mark Teixeira, an easy play for him. Doesn't even have to pick up Robbie Thompson, the third base coach. Gets the third base easy.
Well, you've seen Porcello. He's kind of dominated the lineup the first time through. All of a sudden, now you're in the stretch. Let's see if things have changed a little bit. Good opportunity for New York to try to tie this game back up. Get a couple runs in here.
Here's Nick Swisher.
It'll be a battle for Nick Swisher. Porcello, a sinker baller, a lot of ground balls. Got to get the ball up in the air.
Ooh. And we've seen a high strike called in this series. That was borderline just middle of the plate. Every once in a while, I think those curveballs can fool the umpire, too.
The 1-0. Outside 2-0. Teixeira's at third. Cano is at first. Yankees rallying for the first time. Missed outside. Yankees one pitch away from loading the bases. And Posada is on deck. Do you green light Swisher here? 3-0. They do. It's a base hit up the middle. Teixeira scores. Cano goes to second. An RBI single for Swisher. And the Yankees are on the board. Tigers 2, Yankees 1.
Again, Joe Girardi gives Nick Swisher the green light, and it gets a sinker ball pitcher. You see they kind of get that get-me-over sinker. It's got a little tail on it. Does a good job of not rolling over on it, just drilling it up the middle. Keep the little train going. You'll see Inesmo doesn't come off the ball, stays right through it. Good way to get runs in from second and third base, right up the middle.
That's his 70th run batted of the year, so he continues an all-star season.
Paul O'Neill working on his swing right there, showing it off. Right back up the middle.
In his career, that's only, I started to think as you guys were talking, I went over it in my head. In his career, it's only the 7th time in Swisher's career he's put a 3-0 pitch in play.
That's what you were thinking.
Yep. He has 5 hits and 7 at-bats.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
You can't even tell me that story without a smile on your face.
Here's Posada. But that's a true stat. Pitch is low. So Rick Knapp goes out and talks. What can he say there, John? Is he just giving him a little bit of a blow?
Things are kind of starting to get away from him a little bit. Did not give up a hit for 3 innings. Now all of a sudden we have 3 in a row. Just take a little breather, work on that sinker down.
There's a strike.
You remind him you have a great opportunity here. You make 1 pitch down, you can get a couple outs with Jorge Posada hitting.
Remember now, Jorge's a speed demon. He's got 10 consecutive stolen bases.
That's right.
Driven out to left field. Kelly back. They'll make the play. And the Yankee runners retreat. Boy, Kelly and Jackson played very shallow in left and center. And he had a retreat, but he hauled it in easily.
Looking back, I remember Andrew Jones used to play as shallow as I've ever seen a center fielder. And this series right here, it's about the same thing. You look at Austin Jackson out there in center field. He just absolutely dares people to hit the ball over his head.
One of the greatest center fielders ever, Paul Blair, who played for the Yankees but really played mostly with the Orioles. He used to play very shallow center field. That was his deal. He can go back on balls.
It's an important thing to know. I think one of the key things to know as an outfielder.
Hot shot up the middle. It squeaks through for a base hit. Cano rounds third. He will score. Granderson continues to punish his former team, and he ties up the game with an RBI single.
Well, if you're Curtis Granderson, you just want to come to the ballpark and keep that good feeling going. Gets a sinker out over the plate. Just drives it right back up the middle, not trying to do too much. Robinson Cano will score easily. Get on that hot streak. You just want to walk up to the plate and have that same feeling you've had the last couple of days.
It's very important too that you don't change things. Once if you're leading off an inning or you get up with nobody on, you work on your mechanics of things that are working, and then all of a sudden you get into a big at bat with men in scoring position. It's important you don't change things and go back into your old habits. And so far, Curtis has really done that. Michael, back to my point, I was talking about outfield. It's very important to know as an outfielder, and you have to know this yourself, whether you go back on a ball better or whether you come in on the ball. And you'll see some people play deep because they come in on the ball much easier. And Austin Jackson obviously feels that he goes back on the ball. He's not going to let those balls fall in front.
What were you better at?
Coming in. I played a pretty deep right field. I always felt like I came in on the ball much quicker than going back on it. It's funny, the thing, you would get so used to playing a certain depth in a home ballpark. Well, there's no reason to play real deep in right field in Yankee Stadium because anything over your head basically is out of the ballpark. So, but then you would go to other parks and you would look behind you and it looked like that right field wall was so far away from you because you're used to that short porch in the old Yankee Stadium.
That's why you didn't love Fenway.
Fenway was the hardest right field by far to play, just because the foul pole was real short, and then it went straight out. So you knew if you cut over to cut a ball off and it got by you, you knew it was a track meet for the runners.
Kearns fouls it away. You know, you talked about what it means for a player to come to a ballpark and know that he's in a pennant race. And Kearns talked about it after the game yesterday, how it just means so much to him. He said every single inning is a big inning and it's a big play, and he had a big hit in yesterday's game, so it's kind of energized him coming from the Indians to the Yankees. Runners will go 3-2, 2 outs. Rounded foul. So the Yankees down 2-0, and they tie the game with 2 runs here in the 4th and looking for more. High fly ball just toward left center. Austin Jackson will put it away. And that will do it. But the Yankee bats come alive. They were no hit through 3. Mark Teixeira started it. Then Cano. Then Swisher. And Granderson finished it. 4 singles for the Yankees equal 2 runs and a tie game. Thank you, Bob. We'll hear from Bob a little bit later on, and then on the post game with Kim. 2-2 game. And the pitch is outside to Avila. 1-0. Count 2-0. Avila reached on a 4-6 fielder's choice. 2-2 on Avila. Next pitch will be the 70th for Phil Hughes. .49 strikes, 20 balls, so great strike-to-ball ratio. Swing and a miss on Avila.
It's a cutter inside, and that can be such a good pitch to lefties. And I don't understand why. It must be a real hard pitch to control for pitchers, because you would think that, the success of Mariano and some of these guys with good cutters, but you see it just has a little movement right at the end. Stays off the barrel of the bat.
Here's Don Kelly. Last inning, 2 great defensive plays by the Yankees, but one defensive play actually caused John Flaherty and a couple people that have emailed me to think. Now, this is recorded as an 8 in your scorebook. Shattered bat. Now, you can see with that replay that it also touches Gardner's glove. So it touches Gardner's glove and then goes into Granderson's glove, and it's recorded an 8. And John, because he's probably seen the movie Inception and his mind works a lot deeper than others, you came up with, why isn't that scored a 7-8? If a ball hits a pitcher and then goes out the Cano, it would be a 1-4-3.
1-4-3, yeah. So why wouldn't it be a 7-8? I thought a man who graduated from Fordham would be able to give me the answer.
But the guy from George Washington actually came up with the abstract thought. And so I don't have the answer.
You just went over my head because I got no big university to throw at you at this point.
We're going to check with the official score why that's not scored a 7-8.
I will be able to sleep better tonight. Thank you, Mike.
You got it.
After Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks in French next.
Francais to you, Mike.
What was your high school, Paul?
Brookhaven.
Brookhaven?
The Bearcats.
Was that a public school or private?
Oh, it was public.
Really?
Yeah.
Tough.
Real tough.
Is that where you met Neville?
Yeah, she went there too.
No, but you met Neville when you were 5.
Yeah, we went to elementary school together. Kindergarten.
She's not sick of you yet?
She hadn't told me if she is. She might well be. We got a dog now. Is that any indication?
That's Dink. Swing and a miss, and Jackson down on strikes. Phil Hughes has retired 8 in a row. At the end of 4.5, we're halfway through. Yankees 2 and the Tigers 2. Look at that ERA. That doesn't match the record. 8 and 10, 2.62. A.J. Burnett, 9 and 10, 4.66. Our coverage begins on, yes, at 6 o'clock. Game time right around 7:08, first pitch. Pitch is inside and low to Pena. 2-2 game, bottom of the fifth inning. Now, Kim Jones did some work, John Flaherty. Billy Altman is the official scorer. And he said that if the ball, there's a ground ball to second base, Rhymes, one away. If the ball conclusively touched the glove of Gardner, they will score to 7-8. Now, they say they're looking for another angle. I mean, what angle do you need to touch the glove?
What more do you need to see it touch the glove, obviously?
Yes, Mo doesn't lie. I mean, the glove moves for a reason. No? It's not like somebody threw a rock at him or something. Flash, that's pretty impressive, man. Just changing the history of baseball right here.
Guy can't program a DVR, but he's changing scoring.
I can program a DVR. I just didn't pay attention. Sure. I was trying to broaden my language skills. I listened to it in Spanish. It didn't work out.
Nothing better than Rex in Spanish.
Proud of my DVR skills.
Was it like one of those Bruce Lee movies where it was in Spanish and it didn't really match what the lips were saying?
You know what? It was one of those things. I see the beginning of it and everything's written in Spanish, and I'm like, well, maybe it'll be in
wishful thinking, huh?
Don't you miss?
But the thing that gets me is that you are one of the brightest people I know. And all you had to do at that point was switch over to HBO On Demand. Boom, you're home free.
I've been up here 7-8 years. You've never said that to me. How long is it going to take?
Ground ball to second, and Gardner is out, so 2 ground balls to second, and they're 2 away. Here's Derek Jeter.
Just feel like Jeet down the stretch here is going to go through one of those runs, and I mean he can put up those the 15 for 20s and just crazy amount of hits in a short amount of time. So you just feel like this is just a little hump he'll get over, and then in September he's going to go through one of those runs, get back up into the 280s, 290. Good curveball. Yeah.
Ground ball to first. Cabrera fields, and he'll beat Jeter to the bag, and that'll do it. So Porcello, an 8-pitch inning, retires the Yankees 1-2-3. Let's go to the 6th. It's a 2-2 game. Network for State of Sports Special. Sports business execs Randy Levine, Jerry Jones, Jonathan Kraft, and Sal Galatioto break down the business behind their respective brands and delve into the future. It's all new tomorrow at 11, only on Yes. Will Rhymes hits the first pitch and flies out to Curtis Granderson for the first out of the sixth. Both pitchers getting by on fewer pitchers, and that means that they'll stick around a little bit longer.
I think Hughes, if you look at all the innings he's pitched, last inning was, one of his stronger innings. He was getting that fastball by some people, and he's been around the strike zone all day.
And there's a strike to Rayburn. Tonight, Tampa Bay's at Oakland, and the Angels are in Boston. So those teams are going to know what the Yankees do. This game will be over by the time those start, especially the one in Oakland.
It's 2-2, Mike.
I was just thinking that.
We've been here before when the West Coast starts.
Four of the Tigers' last 9 outs have been recorded on the first pitch. And that helps out a pitch count. He's at 80 now. And we're in the 6th inning. That's why the whole innings limit, I understand why teams do it, but it's such an inexact science. So an inning where he throws 30 pitches is equal to an inning where he gets a 1-2-3 inning and 8 pitches. I mean, how do you differentiate between those innings? They're different innings completely.
And it comes down to what you're looking at right there. As Joe Girardi and pitching coach Dave Island is seeing how laboring of a start it is. And, everything right now, Phil Hughes looks more comfortable now than he did in the first couple innings. So he's free and easy right now. And there are games that, that you do start to work and you have a lot of jams and take much more out of your arm than this game right here, where he seems to be finding kind of a second gear in his game.
Now here's Miguel Cabrera. Always an interesting at bat. He had a home run in the first inning, a 2-run shot. That's the only damage against Hughes, and he flied out to a center in the third. And a strike. Now there's more juice on the fastball as well. 94 miles an hour. He'd been at 92 for most of the game.
It's so hard to pitch around a guy with 2 outs, but really the main power threat in this lineup for the Tigers.
Popped him up. That's an impressive inning. He's retired now 11 in a row as Jeter puts this one away. An 8-pitch inning for Phil Hughes. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Yankees and the Tigers are knotted at 2. 2-2 game. Teixeira is 1-2. Teixeira broke up 3 1/3 innings of no-hit ball by Porcello with a single right center. Then Cano followed with a single right. This was in the 4th. Then Swisher on a 3-0 pitch, an RBI single to center. And then later in the inning, Granderson tied the game with an RBI single to center. And the Tiger scoring came on a 2-run home run to right field by Miguel Cabrera in the 1st. That's where we are at 2-2. And the 0-2 high.
I mentioned in the scouting report that Porcello has made some adjustments. Mark Teixeira seeing at this at bat. First pitch curveball for a strike, change up, a swing and a miss, and then an elevated fastball. See mostly sinkers early on in this ball game. Now the Yankee hitters looks like they're going to see a different game plan.
Teixeira works a leadoff walk. There's baseball in Porcello's DNA. His grandfather, Sam Dente, played for the Cleveland Indians in 1954 World Series. Sam also from New Jersey. And you know that Rick has an awful lot of family and friends here. This is his first start ever at Yankee Stadium. That is the first batter he's walked to lead off an inning in his last 12 starts. Cano fouls it off.
Robin's been much more aggressive at the plate this series, and a lot of first pitches, a couple home runs off first pitches in this series. But you know, his aggressiveness you love to see. If he keeps the ball in the strike zone, tough, you know, one if not the toughest out in the American League.
It's amazing now when he swings at a pitch in the dirt or above his head, you kind of, whoa, I haven't seen that in a while. And last year that was pretty common early in his career.
Driven into left center field. That is going to be a base hit. Kelly rushes over and I'll have to play it off the wall. Teixeira rounds third. He'll score. It's an RBI double for Robinson Cano. And the Yankees have taken the lead 3-2.
You talk about what makes Robinson Cano a great hitter. It's because he uses all parts of the field. That ball's just got a little tail, and you see he just drives it. Kind of admires it for a minute to see if it's going to fall. Splits the outfielders. Teixeira got a great read on the ball. He was off and running. Piece of hitting by Robbie.
What was up with that finish right there? It was kind of an exaggerated pose at the end. That little slice right to left helped him too, shooting that gap in left center.
4th hit for Cano in this series. 2 home runs in those 4 hits. And now Cano has tied Derek Jeter for the team lead with 43 multi-hit games. Swisher. Did it hit him? No, it did not. A block there by Avila.
Paul, I was always jealous of the left-handed hitters here. Nick Swisher, a switch hitter, obviously, but a left-handed hitter in this situation where you can just go ahead and try to pull the ball. And if you get one up in the air, great. If not, you hit a ground ball, you advance the runner. For a right-handed hitter, it's so much different. You become defensive.
Yeah, you got
trying to block the ball over there. Yeah.
Push it over there. Here you just kind of get on top of the plate. It's almost like batting practice.
Yeah.
You just try to hook everything. You're right. At worst, you hit a ground ball to the second baseman, but you don't want to put yourself here where you're intentionally just trying to flick the ball over there. You try to drive him in, but with the mindset is I'm going to pull everything up here.
Count 3-0. Now last time on 3-0, they turned Swisher loose. He picked up an RBI single. Posada is on deck. 22 homers and 70 ribbies for Swisher, hitting .293. Turn him loose again. Swing and a miss.
I guess if you're going to swing 3-0, that's the right swing to take. You want one in the strike zone, maybe a little up, but Joe Girardi gives you the green light. Turn it loose.
Worst thing you can do there is pop it straight up. So if you're going to take that big hack, you know, you're just glad as a hitter that you swung through it.
And he works a walk. So a walk, a double, and a walk, and Porcello in trouble. Time for another look at today's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question, going forward, which of these two players would you rather have on your team? You've been texting us at 58772. And here's how you voted. 64% want the Cardinals' Albert Pujols. 36% would settle for Miguel Cabrera. Now, the one big variable is that Pujols is 30 years old and Cabrera is 27. Pujols is an excellent first baseman, though. Cabrera is a converted third baseman. He's kind of a work in progress over there. So Rick Knapp goes out and talks with Porcello, tries to settle him down. And Daniel Slureth and Robbie Reinhart begin to throw. Traveling this season? Take the Yankees with you. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. This will be the 91st pitch, and it's outside 1-0. Entering today's game, Porcello had allowed runs in 70% of the innings, in which he allowed the first batter to reach base.
That's the pitch he wants. That's the pitch he needs. You see him questioning that sinker down, and if it's low, because they had a lot of the plate. That, you know, in a jam, pitcher needs to try to ball like it was down. But that's the one you want as a pitcher, for him to roll over and get that double play.
You got to assume if Nick Swisher had the green light 3-0, Jorge Posada would as well. Curtis Granderson on deck.
Porcello's last hitter, I would think, and lefty up at the bullpen with Granderson coming up.
He turned him loose, and he rips it to right center for a base hit. Cano scores. Swisher goes to third. Posada at first with an RBI single, and the Yankees lead 4-2.
Green light, Jorge Posada, 3-0, gets a fastball, rips it to right center field. And Nick Swisher's going to get the third easy. Jorge Posada takes a big turn, was thinking about second base and made a wise decision. Another good 3-0 swing.
And a historic hit for Jorge, 1,559, and that allows him to pass Thurman Munson on the Yankees' all-time hits list. It also knocks out Rick Porcello, so the kid from New Jersey pitched okay, ran into trouble right here. There you see the Yankees' all-time hits list, and he is moving on. Next stop, number 16, Bob Musial. But the Yankee inning is still going on as Leland goes to the pen. rethink possible. And we'll get our second look at Daniel Schlereth, the young left-hander. This will be his 6th game, 10 hits in 5 innings, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. We saw Daniel the first night of this series, and I talked to Mark Schlereth on my radio show, works for ESPN, and he said it is a helpless feeling. He said your heart is beating through your chest. You're watching your son pitch. He goes, I was more nervous that game, he said, than any of the 3 Super Bowls I ever played in.
I believe it. You have total control over something you're doing. And, you know the ups and downs of any sports, and to see your kids going through time. And he made some good pitches. He gave up a home run to Robbie Cano, and you can tell, it's not the outing he was looking for.
Mark Schlereth, when Daniel was 12 years old, and Mark said, I didn't know baseball. I was a football player. I'm a rockhead. He goes, and I told him, son, I will never go to Yankee Stadium, Fenway Park, or Wrigley Field unless you were pitching there as a professional. He said, I thought sure he was going to be a professional. He said he's 12 years old. He was the best 12-year-old. He goes, I figured, well, he's going to make the big leagues. I didn't know how tough it was. He goes, but that's why I came to the game with my wife, and we saw Wrigley last year when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Fenway's next. Grounded foul. Curtis Granderson with an RBI single in the 4th inning. In this series, he's showing the Tigers, hey, I was pretty good, and you traded me 6 for 12, 2 home runs, and 3 runs batted in.
Kevin Long's got to be ecstatic with that, but he was even happier in Kansas City when Curtis wasn't getting the results. He was hitting balls hard, not a lot of hits. Now that has changed.
Count 3-1 on Granderson. And he walks Granderson to load the bases. Still nobody out. And that was it for Schlereth. They brought him in just to get the left-hander. So now they're going to go for the right-hander to face Austin Kearns. Yankees have the bases loaded. They're up by 2. They're looking for more. Seven-time world champion New York Yankees in action this Sunday, August 22nd. The Yankees take on the Mariners, and it's banner day. The first 18,000 fans, 14 and younger, are going to receive a Yankees banner, courtesy of Sharp Electronics. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Well, Daniel Schlereth walked the only batter that he came in to get, and now Robbie Reinhart will come on and try to get Austin Kearns. Bases loaded, nobody out. With the bases loaded this year, Kearns 4 for 6 with 10 runs batted in. Yesterday he had a double in this spot. Strike.
If you're the Yankees right here, you know, you're looking at bases loaded, nobody out. You're looking at just trying to break this game wide open. You still realize it's only a 2-run game at this point. So put a couple good at-bats together right here. Phil Hughes a little working room.
Swisher is at third. Posada at second. Granderson is at first. Wants that one back. Count 1 and 2.
Yeah, Weinhardt kind of has that low 3/4 arm angle, trying to create a little bit of movement. Left one right down Broadway to Austin Kearns, and he fouled off. His game is not about power. He tries to create a little bit of movement, did not have it there. An awkward swing. I lost.
It looks like his hand flew off the bat, but again, the one thing I was looking at was where that location of that pitch was. You don't want to foul those back.
Fouled that one back. Yankees looking for a win in this 4-game set. They lost the first game. That's not the way to get wins in 4-game series. But they won game 2, game 3, and this is game 4. They're up 4-2. And the count 2-2. No place to put Kearns. Kearns said, as we mentioned earlier, energized to be in a pennant race, playing for a team that expects to win every single day. The energy, the crowds, the emotion. The 2-2. Fouled out.
It's nice to see these guys, Kearns and Kerry Wood and Berkman, now on the disabled list, but you're starting to see them settle in and just become Yankee players. You know, when they first came over here, you could tell didn't really know what the routine was and how to fit in. Kearns gets an opportunity to DH today. Berkman's still having trouble with that ankle.
And he was put on the DL before the game today, and Eduardo Nunez replaced him on the roster, the 2-2. That one's drilled deep to center field. Jackson back, still back. He's not going to get there, and it's going to be up against the wall. Swisher scores. Posada scores. It's a 2-run double for Kearns, and it's 6-2 Yankees. Let's take a look at that.
Look at the pitch by pitch. I mean, you see that fastball right down the middle of the plate. Everything's hard. Austin Kearns missed one there. Fouled off the ball there. See, he missed with the one slider right there. He finally got one a little bit farther away where he could get his arms extended as he did last night. The double off the left center field wall.
And the pitch by pitch brought to you by Suzuki Kazashi. So a big inning for the Yankees, and that hit ups the Yankee team batting average with the bases loaded this year to 423. Infield in. Grounded right back to Weinhardt. Good play. Checks the runners and makes the out at first.
Good play. Peña's going to be disappointed with himself. Infield was brought in. This would be aggressive first pitch, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, and if you look at it, and everybody's gone through it, I mean, that's a situation you really want to take a good hack that first pitch. I mean, he got a pitch to hit. He was kind of falling away, kind of just reaching for the ball. That's a ball you want to try to just drive, or at least drive the ball out to the outfielder. Get that runner in from third base.
Infield still in for Gardner. Gardner's 0 for 3. Pitch outside.
Ground balls for Brett Gardner today to the pitcher and a couple to second base. Here against a sinker baller, Weinhardt stay the other way. Infield is in.
Eddie Bonine warming for the Tigers. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 6-2 Yankees over the Tigers. Now 3-0. First base open. Jeter is on deck. And Rick Porcello wondering how it went wrong. 2-2 game coming into the 6th. And 4 batters later, he's down 4-2 and out of the game. 3-0. And that one goes all the way to the backstop. Here comes Granderson. He scores. Moving to third is Kearns. Gardner with a base on balls, and it's a 7-2 Yankee lead.
I mentioned Weinhardt, kind of a 3/4 arm angle, and usually you're going to get a little sinking action. Vila behind the plate. It looked like a four-seamer, just kept rising right off of his glove. I believe that's going to be a pass ball. Curtis Granderson comes in.
That is scored a pass ball. So 7-2 Yankees over the Tigers, and that's going to bring up Jeter. Jeter is 0 for 3. He's 2 for his last 15, 8 for his last 35, and his average is at 275. And a strike. Along with Paul O'Neill, John Flaherty, and Kimberly Jones, I'm Michael Kay, and you're watching Yankees baseball, a Thursday matinee right here on Yes. Yankees lead the Tigers 7-2. Look at that, Paul. They cut out the pictures.
Wasn't one of my best anyway.
Foul back. That picture they have of you, at least you had your haircut.
But you told me I had my Century 21 coat on, full gold coat.
That's right. Count 0-2 on Jeter. Jeter had 22 ribbies in his first 27 games. He's had 31 ribbies in the 92 games since. Pitch outside. We ask, and it actually happens. There you are in that jacket.
Yeah. Look at Kim, though. She's kind of showing us up. Yep.
Hair looks great. Kind of frames the face. There is the frame of the photo of the picture of the face. What? I'm dizzy today.
You know, when I ramble, you just like backhand. And when you ramble, we just kind of look at you like, where are you going with it?
Five runs in. 1-2. Yankees with 7 hits and the Tigers with 4. Seattle comes into town for the Yankees starting tomorrow night and Saturday and Sunday afternoon. Runner goes. Pitch is foul back.
I think back to the point of the September schedule and what Granderson said the other night to realize you need to beat these teams. And you got an opportunity here to win 3 out of 4 against the Tigers, and you've got Seattle coming in, not having one of the greatest years. I mean, you've got to take advantage of teams like that coming down the stretch, especially at home. It's not going to be so easy in September when you're traveling to some of the tougher team stadiums.
The Yankees trying to take 3 out of 4 without Alex Rodriguez. Played the first game and injured his calf. He's been receiving treatment. And the 1-2. 2-2. They're really making Weinhardt and all the Tiger pitchers work.
Seen a lot of swings from Derek Jeter in this at bat. They're actually a lot better, backing the ball up and fouling him off to the right side. We've seen him a little quick lately with that front hip. Some of the foul balls here in this at bat a little bit better.
Runner goes, pitch is high, and a stolen base for Gardner. Doesn't have to slide. Tough inning for Leland and the Tigers. This chiropractic telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Continuing to battle.
I feel like this was a tough at bat. Flash. All of a sudden, man on first and third, he's trying to get a double play coming after you. All of a sudden, a wild pitch man or a stolen base, man's on second. Now there's a base open, so you know that he's going to try to make that perfect pitch.
That one is driven deep to center field. Jackson back. Still back. Still back. He can't make the play. It's off the base of the wall. Kern scores. Gardner scores. Jeter's at third with a 2-run triple. And the Yankees have broken it open. They lead 9-2.
Derek Jeter has taken some better swings as Jim Leland's going to come out and have a little conversation. Some better swings from Derek Jeter that entire at bat, and he finally got a pitch he can handle out over the plate.
This is the Yankees' 27th triple of the year. They had 21 all of last year. And Austin Jackson has to play it off the wall. 2 ribbies for Jeter, and the Yankees lead 9-2. We'll be back. Jeter gave us the Coors Light cold, hard blast.
Well, he finally got a pitch that he could handle. After a couple of good swings and driving it to center field, a great sign for Derek Jeter and the Yankees.
The stitching of the ball you can see right there is left on the wall. So Derek with his 54th and 55th runs batted in. Infield still in. Eddie Bonine is the new pitcher. Leland searching for somebody to get an out. Teixeira. Swing and a miss at an off-speed pitch. Hot shot to short. Peralta checks back Jeter, and Teixeira's out for the second out of the inning. Now they get back the infield up for Robinson Cano.
9 runs already in this ballgame. I guess the Yankees not struggling offensively anymore. Good Good news for Joe Girardi. If it stays this way, you don't have to worry about Alex Rodriguez, a possibility of maybe pinch hitting. Give him another day.
Bottom of the sixth inning is already 30 minutes old.
I was going to say that 30 minutes is probably going to call Phil Hughes' day. I think the bullpen is up for that reason. That's a long break. 30 minutes to take and try to go back up. So, you know, if that is the case, Phil Hughes might threw better towards the end of the game. Yeah. He did at the beginning. Very strong out.
And now you save that one more inning for later on in the season. I know it sounds silly, but that's where they are with Phil. And he's poised to pick up his 15th win. So a combination of Hughes and Sabathia have won 31 games for the Yankees. Just those two.
CC Sabathia leading the league in victories. Phil Hughes tied now for second. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
For a guy who was in a competition for a rotation spot in spring training.
He took it serious.
Yeah, it looked fun to watch.
You look back at you know how he kind of evolved, and it was, in my mind, it was just the confidence that he got from being put out in the bullpen, being able to come in for one inning, realizing he could throw fastballs by people. And I think he took that confidence and that mentality into his starting role this year, and he has not lost it.
1-1. 2-1-1.
Kind of laugh when I think back to spring training. A big deal was made of the changeup for Phil Hughes. That was the difference. You know, he was going to be a 4-pitch pitcher, can pitch in the rotation. We don't even think about the changeup anymore. Fastball, cutter, curveball. Whatever works.
Count 3-1 to Cano. Swisher is on deck.
Really good control today. You know, he was strike one a lot with his fastball, and you don't really know how to explain it, but some guys, and we were talking a little bit about early in the year, how, you know, fastball right there, guys swing through it. You don't understand how some people with good stuff in fastball counts get hit, and some people, you know, just seem to miss the bat.
That one's driven deep to center field. Jackson back, looking up. See ya! Two-run home run. Robinson Cano, and the Yankees lead 11-2. That's Cano's 24th home run of the year. His career high is 25, which he did last year.
He's going to have bragging rights with Derek Jeter because Derek hit with the center field off the wall. Robinson Cano says, I'll do you just a little bit better. Straight away center field. Did a nice job laying off some changeups and finally got a fastball out over the plate that he could handle.
Nine runs for the Yankees in this inning on just 5 hits. And the all-important walks, 4 of them. Pitch to Swisher is low, 1-0. So the Yankees just pouring it on here in the 6th. Cano with a single, a double, and a home run. He has 5 hits in the series, 3 home runs. Swisher keeps it going, and the hits just keep on coming.
A lot of reasons to smile for the Yankees. Robinson Cano has homered in 3 straight games. Love the finish there, Paul.
Oh. Yeah, that wasn't a paint scraper there. That would have hit Babe Ruth in the head out there. Little net above him.
Here's Posada. And the inning might finally end. A ground ball to Rhymes. And that will do it. But the Yankees break it open. 9 runs, 6 hits, 1 man left. A 35-minute inning. 11-2 Yankees. Powered by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicle of the New York Yankees. Sergio Mitre will take over for the Yankees. We got a guest in the booth who did a great job on the PA. He was better than Paul Oldham, let's be honest. That's Daniel, and he dropped by to say hello. And he obviously, wave, Daniel, you're on TV. Right
See
today,
that camera?
there's the camera.
That thing scares me too. Don't worry about it.
Daniel was great.
I don't think I do either half the time.
You know, Daniel did something historic. He's the only person ever in the history of the Yankees to introduce Derek Jeter coming to the plate other than Bob Shepard's voice.
And he nailed it.
He nailed it. If he didn't, you would have been in trouble, Daniel. Big trouble, but you nailed it. So congratulations to Daniel and welcome to the booth. And he watches every single game on Yes, which is neat.
That worries me. He's got to hear you every single day.
I'm wearing off on you, Daniel? That's okay. See?
Come on, you're supposed to be on my side. Okay.
Verizon Wireless scoreboard. Yankees lead the Tigers 11-2. So a new pitcher on a relief for Phil Hughes. That's Sergio Mitre. And Johnny Damon is up. One 1-0. So Hughes is poised to get his 15th victory of the year. The bottom of the 6th inning was 35 minutes. Now Hughes has completed at least 5 innings in all of his 23 starts. That 9 really makes the game a lot easier for Joe Girardi to manage, makes it a lot easier for the bullpen as well.
Flash, I think I can manage when you throw up a 9 spot. What do you think?
Makes those decisions a lot easier. And see on the other side, the hat goes up on the.
Thinking about what they're going to serve on the plane for dinner at this point. Tough year for Jim Leyland. I mean, coming into the year, they got off to a great start, got good players, but again, this is if you look at a lot of teams that are having subpar years, you know, how do you rebuild this team? Pretty quick fix here. I mean, you get your guys back healthy, you possibly bring in a big lefty bat to protect Cabrera and hope that your pitching shows up like it has in the past.
Well, I think pitching, Porcello did a pretty nice job today. I don't know what happened in the later innings.
You can see where he could get back very easy. He's got good movement on his sinker. You just got to get it going down again instead of kind of that running sinker and tailing fastball. I mean, and you know, Bonderman's going to be stronger. He's been out for 1.5 years after surgery, so you know, Verlander's the guy that you look at the Yankees and how much they appreciate CC Sabathia. Verlander's going to have to step into a role like that where, you know, you can go out there and expect him to win every single time he takes the mound.
Count 3-2 on Damon. You saw Eduardo Nunez has taken over at shortstop for Jeter, so he's in his first big league game. And Damon fouls it off. So we talking nerves there, first big league game?
I was thinking my first big league inning behind the plate had Richie Garcia was the home plate umpire. Well, why do you make that face?
Because he used to call me out just to call me out. He'd start bringing that right arm up before they even threw the ball sometime.
I was so nervous I couldn't get the ball back to the pitcher. You know, he puts his hand on my shoulder. You'll be all right, kid.
Swinging and miss. Damon down on strikes. Yeah, I'll tell you what about Nunez. I've always said in Yankee lore, number 12 is a very underrated number. And it's never been grabbed by somebody and they just run with it. But 12 is one of the last great numbers that's out there for the Yankees to give out. Low number. Growing up, one of my idols, Ron Bloomberg, wore number 12.
Growing up, number 12 was always like a football number.
Joe Namath.
Yeah, Joe Namath, the great quarterbacks for number 12.
Now, John tells you how nervous he was with Rich Garcia behind the plate, but he stroked a double in his first big league game.
Just a bullet, too, I bet.
Chuck Nagy, a little two-seamer in on the hands. Fell right in that sweet spot for me.
It's an A-list guy, too. Everybody remembers that name.
Sellout crowd here on a Thursday afternoon.
Is that the middle of the year or September call-up? Did you make the team?
That was 92, right at the beginning of the year. The old Cleveland Stadium.
Oh, that was a beauty.
1-1. Driven out into right center field off the bat of Peralta. Giving chase is Granderson, and that ball is gone. A home run into Monument Park by Johnny Peralta. A solo shot, and the Yankee lead is now 11-3. Well, Peralta got robbed in the 4th inning by Granderson. This one, he wanted to make sure he had no chance to get.
He's hit some home runs since being traded over here to Detroit. That's his 12th of the year now. Again, no cheapie. When you go out at the Monument Park, the Yankee Stadium, you've earned it.
Oh, you could tell Granderson kind of gave up on that ball early, too, and that's usually your first indication. The ball's out.
There's a base hit for Brandon Inge.
I think everybody's trying to jump in on the wagon right now. Anybody grabs a bat, this must be one of those days where the bat feels good in your hand. Perfect temperature.
Here's Alex Avila.
Joe Girardi and Dave Island like to see Mitre get it going in this inning. I mean, the Yankees used a lot of their bullpen last night. Jabba, Boone Logan, Kerry Wood, Chad Godin, Robertson, and Mariano. To give those guys an afternoon off if you can.
$48,143 here on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. There's a strike.
I mean, is there anywhere else in baseball do you get 48,000 in the middle of the week on a matinee?
Pretty amazing. It is pretty amazing. Now, that 9-run inning sent a couple of people home, but there are a lot of camp groups here. You know, the kids in the same color T-shirts, and just a nice sight. I was driving to the ballpark, and there's a camp, and there was a camp that was crossing the street. It must have taken 8 minutes. It must have been 1,000 people.
Did they have their shirts on?
What was that? They all had green shirts on.
Green shirts.
And I was starting to get chapped.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I find
you didn't roll the window down and scream at a little kid or something?
No, but in my mind I was doing that.
That might be them right there.
That might have been them. But they were way more than that. Way more. They just kept coming. It almost like it was a comedy routine. They just kept coming and coming. It was amazing. Michael kick. 7 of them. Pitch is low, and Mitre is struggling. People have really caught on. You have a Michael K sign, there's a good chance you're getting on yes. That's all there is to it.
Legend.
Legend strong. Not true, but
you
it's
passed
strong.
those out to the kids crossing the street, didn't you? Huh? Just opened the trunk and started firing them right at the campers.
That one's driven to center field deep. Granderson back, still back. It's over his head, and it bounces into Monument Park. A double for Avila.
Tell you what, Monument Park's like a slot machine out there today. There's things flying all over the place, and you usually don't see that part of the field. Mitre comes in out of the bullpen, sinker up in the zone, kind of flattens out again. It's like a broken record, driven to center field, off the net. And yes, Mo, he's still not going to catch it, I guarantee it. There you go.
Now, Dave Island goes out and talks with Mitre. Nobody's warming in the Yankee bullpen. That might be what he's saying. If nobody's warming, you better get these people out.
Yeah, this might be a stern message right here. You got the rest of this ball game. Get it straightened out quick.
Mo's just checking out the crowd. Believe me, he does not want to pitch today. Hey, how you doing?
I've gone back-to-back days without saves and still pitched. I'm shutting the door on you.
Here's Don Kelly.
Count 1-0.
You know the one thing that worries me, John, about this sort of game? These are the sort of games that O'Neal gets in his last game and he starts to reconsider this as a career.
So where my new rule would come into play. I think it goes back to Little League. You get the 10-run rule. You really play to get up 10 runs after the 5th inning. The fans would be on their feet trying to get that 10-run rule. Jim Leland would have to pick up the white flag and wave it.
You'd be in the car going to the airport?
Yeah.
The 2-0. 3-0.
Dave Island going to the telephone. That is not going to make him or Joe Girardi very happy.
You can see that look of disgust. This is not what he expected from Mitre. Last time Mitre pitched, he pitched great. And there's a strike. And that was in relief of Javi Vasquez. He pitched very, very well. And that was Monday night. And today it's just not happening. And Kerry Wood. Count 3-2.
See, you've got to frustrate you as a catcher. Bring somebody into the bullpen with a lead like that, and it's not intentional, obviously. Mitre wants to come in and just strike one, strike two every time, but you come in with a big lead, you'd expect guys just to come in and shut the door, and all of a sudden, the balls start flying around. Just like hitters, pitchers have good days and bad days.
Off-speed pitch, and Kelly way out in front, swings and misses. 4 of Mitre's last 5 appearances entering today's game had been scoreless.
You know, it's frustrating for Mitre and Posada behind the plate. You're just trying to get him back on track. Is it a mechanic? Can I say something? Can I motion with that front shoulder, something to get him back? You know he's not trying to do it on purpose.
It was Austin Jackson. And there's a strike. Jackson 0 for 3 in this game. 2 fly balls to right and a strikeout. Nice scoop there by Posada, saving a run.
One of the better catcher-pitchers meetings I ever heard was Ron Guidry was telling me in spring training one time. And, you know, this is, everybody will remember these names. You got Ron Guidry pitching and Thurman Munson catching, right? About the 2nd inning, he keeps shaking him off, walks out there and he says, you just throw what you want, I'll catch it. All right, turned around and walked right back to the plate. Didn't give him a signal the rest of the inning.
1-1.
It's kind of hard, too.
Gator told me the same thing, and I said, you know, I've seen your slider, how nasty that pitch was.
I know where that thing's coming.
I said, I find that hard to believe. And he said, it wasn't really rocket science back then. I mean, if I was early in the count, I'd throw fastballs and I'd finish the guy off with a slider. It's pretty simple. Didn't sound simple to me. I needed to know what's coming.
The 1-2. Hot shot up the middle and through for a base hit. In scores. Avila will stop at third. It's an RBI single for Austin Jackson, and the Yankee lead is 11-4.
Jackson has not had a hit so far. Just stays with that fastball right out of the reach of Mitre, out of the reach of a diving Robinson Cano.
That's scary.
Again, the Tigers are going to take their at-bat serious. They're going to keep swinging the bats.
Here's Will Rhymes. And a strike. Rhymes 2 for 3. Single to left and scored in the first. Single to right in the third. And flied out to center in the sixth.
Took a little off of that one.
guess that would make it a changeup on Flash.
Avila is on third. Austin Jackson is on first. Yankees are up 11-4. We're at the top of the seventh inning here at the stadium. Final game of the four-game set, the 0-2. 1-2. .30 pitches already for Mitre. 18 strikes, 12 balls. The 1-2. Lofted to center field. This will do it as Granderson puts it away. Yankees give up 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch as the Yankees lead the Tigers 11-4, but we stay right where we are to honor America here in the Bronx.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Thank you very much, Bob. Back here for the bottom of the 8th, or bottom of the 7th inning on your Verizon Wireless scoreboard. The Yankees enjoying a nice afternoon. 11 runs, 10 hits, as opposed to 4 runs and 8 hits for the Tigers.
Well, we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and Curtis Granderson will start it off. Grounded, foul. Fouled away. We got some changes for the Tigers. It feels like we're in Lakeland right now.
Let's just say that.
We'll get them to you as we move along. And Granderson stays alive. We've got a new left fielder. It's the old right fielder. Rayburn moves from right to left. There's Ryan. We have a new right fielder. It's Brennan Bosch. We have a new first baseman. That was Don Kelly. Kelly moved from left to first, so Cabrera's out of the game. We have Ramon Santiago at short. And then the shortstop Peralta moves to third base.
Get all that, Flash?
No.
You didn't even change your book, did you?
Nope.
Got enough.
Welcome to Joker Marchand Stadium. That's where the Tigers train. Now Bosch is going to bat the number 4 spot.
Remember the old days of training there or going over to play? I was training with the Reds, and Sparky Anderson was still managing over there. Kirk Gibson was running around out there. Al Kaline was walking around. The old Tiger days.
I was lucky enough to play for Sparky for 2 years.
Is that right?
94 and 95.
High fly ball center field. Austin Jackson back. And he makes the play, retiring Granderson for the first out. John, we go back to the play that you deliberated on. And as I always do, I agree with you. Johnny Peralta's fly ball to left center that clearly went off the glove of Gardner. They are going to keep that as an 8. They are not making it a 7.
They're not changing.
No, they refuse.
So they didn't see it on the Yesmo. The ball actually hit the glove.
I don't understand how they couldn't. It clearly hit the glove. Now the brown glove first is going to. How does he not see that?
Who's the official score?
Bill Altman. Ground ball up the middle. And a base hit for Austin Kearns, who's having a nice day. He's now 2 for 4.
Flash, sounds like you're calling him out over there.
I just asked a question. I just wanted to know who it was.
You don't want to mess with Billy Altman, though. He's got a couple brothers. There you go.
Flash lives in Rockland County. He's got a lot of buddies up there. Either way you look at it, it's a pretty good play.
Good
Two
play.
Good outfielders going at it.
Now they said that they could score to 7-8. That's what I doubt, though, because how do you have an assist on that? You know, it wasn't. I understand, but it's not. I mean, it's not like a shortstop throwing the ball to first, and you can't have 2 putouts.
But a line drive off a pitcher's leg or something would be in a 1-4-3. Is that an assist?
I guess you're right. So we did get out of them that it can be a 7-8. Now that being said, then how's that not a 7-8? I mean, it clearly touched the glove.
So if that is a 7-8, does Brett Gardner get an assist the same as he would have thrown somebody at home plate?
I guess he has to. He has to get an assist if you're in the scoring.
See, that's why I don't bring a scorebook up here.
Is that the reason, Paul?
That's the reason. Things like that really get me upset and confused, and I'd have the white out, and it would really upset me.
And what's the reason for no pen?
I carry my pen with my scorebook. It's kind of like salt and pepper. You always have to, as a married couple, you bring them together.
Now look what John has in front of him. John has the sunglasses. He's got the cell phone. He's got a pen, scorebook,
hydration.
And Paul has that.
I got nothing.
Yeah, well, no, you have the cell phone.
I got a cell phone, and it's not. I have not had a call all day either.
The 1-2 popped up. Peralta shades his eyes and makes the play.
Now I have to get back to a question. You were getting on me. Was I questioning Bill, the official scorer? Have you ever gotten into it with an official scorer?
You know what? I tell you what, as a home player, you expect. The answer is no, but I tell you what, I've had some times where I thought they were wrong.
Yeah.
As a home player, anything off somebody's glove, you expect a base hit. And you know as well as I do, some of these ballparks, I mean, there's home cooking out there. Anything that people put in play is a base hit, and you kind of accept. You hopefully your home guy will do the same thing, but they've always been really fair here. And sometimes as a hitter, a hit here or there can make a big difference.
I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen it too, players actually look up to the press box because they're angry.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I've seen players get on that phone, too, call up there. Not exactly what you want to do in the middle of a ball game.
That one's grounded to short. Backhanded by Santiago, and they get the force at second. In the 7th inning, no runs a hit, no errors, and one man left. Let's go to the 8th. The Yankees are up. For the Chevy Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Today's candidates, and there are many. Number 1, Phil Hughes. Number 2, Robinson Cano. Number 3, Austin Kearns. Number 4, Curtis Granderson. Vote now. Make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. Mitre's still in. He'll deal to Ryan Rayburn. Pitch inside. Now, we just got final word on this, that the official score, and I give him credit because he did his due diligence, he went into the scoreboard room, which Mike Bonner runs, and they do a great job there, all the guys and gals. And he took a look at the Yes Mo replay. That one's driven deep to center field. Granderson back, still back, still back. Boy, they're getting a lot of traffic out there. Over his head and up against the wall. And Ryan Rayburn picks up a double to open up the 8th. Both Granderson and Austin Jackson getting burned with balls over their head in center field.
You know what? It's amazing because I was out there the other day with the Hope Week, and Jane, my new buddy Jane, we walked, and boy, that looks like a long way out there. It seems to me that if you're getting beat, you might want to move back. Maybe the ball's just carrying today, or maybe there's a lot of balls just coincidence.
I wonder if he's getting a good look off the bat.
Yeah, tough day, sunny, blue sky.
Here's Brennan Bosch, his first at bat of the day. Anyway, to finish the story, he goes into the video room, and they play him the Yes Mo replay. And he said, I don't see it hitting Granderson's Gardner's glove. I just don't see it.
Let's have a low grain, high def projector in there or something.
Ground ball, base hit up the middle for Bosch. Ryan Rayburn rounds third. He's going to score. It's an RBI single for Bosch, and the Yankee lead is now 11-5 over the Tigers. Crowd getting a little restless when it comes to Mitre, and so is Island.
Yeah, you just keep looking out at that bullpen. Is it going to be Kerry Wood again? And this is the last thing Joe Girardi and Dave Island wanted to do. Things starting to get a little interesting.
What comes into play this time of year too is there's not a lot of days off, and so that that this is supposed to be your day off for a bullpen when you get a big lead like this, and then when you have to start getting guys up, even if they don't get in the game, they have to warm up, they have to throw, and sometimes you can give those guys days off and still win a game.
Now Boone Logan. And because there are no days off, you don't want to waste guys in games like this when you really shouldn't have to. And that's what Sergio and Chad Godin are on this team for, to take up these innings in games that you're getting blown out or blowing someone out. And to have to get up Wood and have to get up Boone Logan, really, teams look at that and they shake their head. That's you not doing your job then. Bosch leads off first. Nobody out, top of the eighth. The 0-1. Gaiman hits a fly ball to left center. Gardner will make the play. And Johnny is 0 for 4. Somebody lost their stuffed toy. Johnny in his comeback to Yankee Stadium was 2 for 13. And here's Johnny Peralta. Yesmo will show that Gardner actually picked up that stuffed toy and flipped it into the stands.
You sure? We saw that on Yesmo?
Mm-hmm. We'll get it. Pitch outside. Last time up, Peralta homered to center field. The 1-0, outside 2-0. There's that off-speed pitch, and Peralta way out in front. That's been his most effective pitch.
Looks like he's finishing a changeup, having some good finish, and that sinker, he's not really extending, kind of pushing a little bit.
And the count 3-1. Bosch at first. And that one is grounded to Nunez. Goes the second one on to first. It's a double play. So Nunez gets his first try in the big leagues. And he starts a 6-4-3 double play as the Yankees get out of the inning and they lead 11-5. Elvis has left the building. Well, today after the postgame, stick around for a new episode of Memories of the Game presented by Yankee Steiner. In this edition, Mark Teixeira sits down to talk about his personal baseball card collection, plus a local firehouse gets a big surprise from Yankees great Reggie Jackson. It's all today after the postgame. It's only on Yes. A little bit of a strange move by Jim Whelan, but I guess he's trying to straighten out Valverde, who's been struggling. He got the save on Monday, but he certainly labored. You see the numbers: 23 saves, 51 and 2/3 innings, 29 hits. And here's Eduardo Nunez, his first big league at bat, maybe against Jose Valverde. So his major league debut. Crowd giving him a good hand. This is what he did in Scranton: 289, 4 homers and 50 runs batted in. He can pick it at short.
Pretty good numbers, too. 289.
Entered the game in the 7th inning, giving Derek Jeter the final 3 innings off. He pops that one up. Avila will retire Nunez in his first big league at bat. And he gets a nice hand. Here's Mark Teixeira, 1 for 3. 2 runs scored today. Derek out of the game, but still sitting in the dugout. Foul back. Now, when you get taken out early, Paul, you go in and shower and just put the Yankee top on so you can bolt, or you just take the uniform off?
Shower. You go in there, get off your wet clothes, and come in. It's fun to enjoy a game at the end where you're not part of it. It's not good to have a day off because then you felt like you've missed everything. But it's been part of the game. Looks like they're going to wrap up another win, so it's kind of fun just to enjoy what's going on the field at this point. Check out the spread, see what Robbie Kukuz is going to serve up that day, and maybe get a little head start on it,
High fly ball, right center. Austin Jackson puts it away. And Valverde has retired the first 2 Yankees. I was going to bring up Robinson Cano. Now today, Cano single, double, home run, 3 ribbies, 3 runs scored. Here's a fun fact. 10 games hitting cleanup for the Yankees, and Cano 5 home runs and 11 runs batted in. He's been batting 5th most of the year behind A-Rod. He's a triple away from the cycle. All right, selfish question to both of you. You're in the same situation, hit one in the gap. It's a double, you probably get thrown out. Are you going for third, making them throw you out?
Honest truth, 11-5, yes. I'm going for the triple.
Really?
2-1 game, absolutely not. But 11-5, it's definitely in your mind. Those things can stay in your mind in games like that a lot more than they would in a close game.
All right, another one. You've got a double, triple, and a home run, and you hit one in the gap. You trip going over first and stay there with the single?
That's a tougher one.
That's a tougher one, right?
Because then you look like such a dog.
Yeah, you look like an aggressive base runner the other way.
Just trying to make something happen in 11-5 game, 6-5, where are we?
11-5. This is what he's done so far. After grounding out in the second, he gets a single right. Then he gets a double to left center to drive in a run. And then he decides to go yard. Where the legends live.
Got a lot of room in left center field again. If he hits one to that gap, he's got a chance for that triple.
Yankees looking for their 75th win of the year. They'll be 75-46.
Ever hit for the cycle, Flash?
No.
Me neither.
Really?
Even in the minor leagues, I had an opportunity a couple times.
Swing and a miss. And Cano down on strike, so the triple is not to be had. Yankees go down in order, 1-2-3. Coming up, the 9th inning for the Tigers. Are down by 6.
Trying to pick up the last 3 outs of this ball game. First pitch fastball up for ball 1.
This will be Santiago's first at bat. Bottom third of the order. Tigers down by 6 with 3 outs to go. He's thrown the amount of pitches as the number on his back, 45. And that's the most pitches that Mitre's thrown since he had 72 when he made the start on July 24th. Count 3-1.
Talked a lot early on, Michael, about maybe there'd be some pitches thrown at some players this afternoon. Nice clean ball game as far as that's concerned.
The opportunities. I mean, when the ball's flying around like it is there, you get you get some pitchers that aren't in very good attitude. So it's gone. It's over.
Land Rover drive the game. Why get a call when you can own a Land Rover?
Well, Robinson Cano at the bottom of the 7th inning, 24th overall. That's one short of a career high. He's homered in 3 straight games. That one was your Land Rover drive of the game.
So Santiago walks, and here is Alex Avila. Count 1-0.
Michael, I said 7th. I was wrong. It's actually in the 6th. That big inning when the Yankees hit around my scorebook, I actually put it down in the 7th. Did you do the same thing in yours, Paul?
I didn't catch that mistake, though, Flash. Don't worry about it.
Here's the question, though, Paul. Have you ever in your life kept score of a game?
Yeah, back in Little League. Yeah, you know, if you weren't, you keep score.
If you weren't pitching or something the next day, you weren't real good at it, I'll tell you that. There'd be little time lapses. You'd go from the second inning to the sixth, like, what just happened here? What happened?
Let's see if they can turn two. There's one. On the first, a double play. And Santiago went in very hard on Nunez, but clean. A 4-6-3 double play.
Again, you say it. I mean, when you talk about going in hard, if you're going to do it as a team, and you see. Robbie gives him a good feed. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know if he's within striking distance of second base.
What is it, arm length?
Body length.
Body length.
Here's Don Kelly. Tigers down to their final out. Count 1-0. Stick around later for the WB Mason postgame for comprehensive highlights and analysis from this finale against the Tigers, plus a look at the big matchups around the majors and how they affect the playoff race. It's the W Mason postgame coming up after the final out, only on Yes. That one's
nice grab. T-Rock on the left field line is not the only guy with good hands.
Tonight, Angels at the Red Sox. There's T-Rock. And Tampa Bay is at Oakland. Yankees will take a half-game lead if they hold on. Count 2-2. Big day for Robinson Cano. One shy of his career high 25 home runs. He's got 24 now. 2-2. Fouled away. Remember to tune in tomorrow. 6 o'clock we begin our coverage on Yes. Yankees against the Seattle Mariners. And King Felix against A.J. Burnett. That should be fun. The 2-2. 3-2. Joe Girardi looking for his team's third straight win and a series victory. And he gets it. Kelly swings and misses, and the Yankees win the game 11-5. Stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game in the ninth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. Phil Hughes going to get the win for the Yankees. He picks up his 15th of the year against just 5 losses, and this is the Yankees' first 3-game winning streak since they won 3 in a row, July 21st, 22nd, and 23rd, against the Angels and the Royals. Yankees lost the first game, and when you lose the first game of a 4-game set, John, you're not thinking we're going to win the series. You're hoping that you split.
And especially after that ball game, those 2 games in a row, the Yankees really had not swung the bats well. Well, they have rebounded, taking the last 3. And most importantly for Joe Girardi and Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, the bats are there again for the Yankees.
So a strong 6 innings for Phil Hughes, and for the most part, the bullpen gets the day off. 3 innings by Sergio Mitre. They were some shaky innings, but he got through, gave up a couple of runs, and none the worse for wear, other than maybe a little bit of a higher ERA. And the team is obviously giving some high fives to the beautiful people that are going to play doubleheader here at Yankee Stadium. Let's go down to the field and Kimberly Jones. Kim?
Thank you, Michael. Robbie, you guys lose the first game of this 4-game set, but win the next 3 to win the series. How important is that right now for your team?
Well, it's really important because if we want to keep on the race, we want to start winning games and winning series. And that's how I hope we start, from now on and start winning series.
You guys broke it open with the 9 runs in the 6th. How do you describe an inning where you have a double near the top of the inning and a home run near the end of it?
Well, you know what? That's what we're trying to do. We got A-Rod out. And you know what? We're trying to do our job with men on bases. Cause we're not being really good lately. So, you know what? I hope, like I said before, it's a good start for us right now and keep taking it to the rest of the season.
Speaking of Alex being out, in the cleanup spot this season for you, 10 games, how does this sound? 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. Do you like batting fourth?
Well, you know what? Anywhere. You know, as long as you help the team is all that matters to me.
Robbie, we're surrounded, you know, it's Hope Week. We're surrounded by the kids who will now play a game, the beautiful people. How do you put this in perspective as you look around at these children?
I would say that's one of the best things we have through the year. You know, I help kids, people that really need help, and good thing about the Yankees, you know, came out and, like all the players too, you know, dedicate the time to go out there and support those kids.
Robbie, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Michael, back to you.
Thank you, Kimberly, and thanks to Robinson as well. So Austin Kearns had another big hit, another bases-loaded double. 2 straight games for Austin. He'll see more playing time with Berkman on the DL. We've got awards to give out.